Hi, it's Jeff Cook here again. Okay, in this lesson we're going to look at picking. This is one of the most fundamental things we can do on the guitar. It's really important that we get this part right as it leads into almost everything that you're going to do on the guitar. Now, I hope you've already looked at the first video, the general tips video for G4 guitar playing. If you have, that's going to help you when you get to this part. And also we're going to kind of repeat a lot of the things I already said in that, but it certainly doesn't hurt to repeat those things that are worth remembering, and a lot of these things need constant reminders. Okay, so the first thing, if you looked at the other video, we'll have already seen how to hold the pick. Nice and close, not too much pick showing, and we're going to pick at 90 degrees to the body of the guitar. So not like that, as we said before, and not like this. Okay, also, we want to try and use the very tip of the pick. So right at the very end of your pick, rather than digging into the string, as you'll see in the small photo at the bottom of the screen. Okay, another important thing is to brace. Again, this is in the previous video, so we should already be aware of that, but if you're not, please go back and look at that and see how we're going to do it. I'm generally putting my pinky on the body of the guitar, or sometimes on the strings if we're playing on the top strings. Okay, important to be relaxed when you're picking. If you tense up, you're going to dig into the strings and end up with this kind of sound. And a very uneven response. Okay, we're not looking for that. We want a nice even sound. Okay? Right, so the next thing you need to do is you need to look at the G4 guitar exercises for picking. Okay, so we're going to look at this picking sheet, which will be in your G4 guitar kit. Okay, I'll give you a close-up of that now. So if we look at the first exercise there, we're going to be playing on string 6. The most important thing to realise there is which is string 6. A lot of people think that we count the strings like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going from the top to the bottom. That's actually not right. We're going to go from the bottom to the top, so from the thinnest string going upwards. This is string number 1. String number 2, string number 3, 4, 5 and 6. So if you refer to the picking sheet, you'll actually see that it's got 6 and 6 over the letters D and U. Now 6 is obviously the string, D is telling us which direction we're going to pick in, and so is U. So D is for down, and U is for up. So the first exercise will be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. Okay, now that's all well and good in itself, but what we really need to be doing when we're doing these exercises is to do it with a metronome. Okay, now a metronome is just a mechanical or an electronic click that plays at a certain set tempo, and you follow that click. Now, if you have a smartphone of any kind, you should be able to download an application or an app similar to this one, and I'm going to show you a close-up of this one now. So here's a typical metronome app. If you don't have a smartphone, you can buy metronomes from a guitar store, but obviously it's cheaper if you can buy them. The big wheel on this particular app allows you to change the speed, so let's try this one. That's now 116 beats per minute. Then we're more likely to start with a slower speed of 80 beats per minute or less. Okay, that's 79, but that's close enough for our purposes. There you go, that's a metronome. So here's my metronome playing at 80 beats per minute. To begin with, we're going to pick one note to every click of that metronome, like this. Okay, as you get more advanced, what we do is then we start playing in eighths, which means that we're going to double up the number of notes that we're playing for every click. So we're going to play 2 notes for every click, which is like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. Okay, if you're a beginner, you don't need to worry about that at the moment. We can just concentrate on playing like that. Okay, for the second exercise, we're going to pick downwards on 6 and upwards on 5. So we get this. And again, we want to do that with our metronome. Or for more advanced people, we're going to do okay. I'll just show the third exercise, as this one's slightly different, and I think you'll be able to get the other exercises from what you've learned here. Okay, now on the third exercise, we're going to pick upwards on 6 and then downwards on 5, so that we get. Now this sounds exactly the same as exercise number 2, but the picking method is actually different. Now you might wonder why you're doing this, but it will become important later on. Okay, here it is. Okay, that third exercise is often referred to as inside picking. And when you try it, I think you'll understand why. The second exercise is actually referred to as outside picking. And again, the reasons should be fairly obvious. Okay, so let's have a look at some reasons why we're doing the picking exercise. Okay, you may think doing this up and down is fairly boring and possibly pointless. But here's a song that we can actually play using this alternate picking method. Alternate picking just means down and up in repeated motions. Okay, so here we go. Okay, a little bit of guitar boogie there. So if you watch that closely, you'd see that my right hand is doing an awful lot of up and down picking, or alternate picking as we call it. And that's the kind of thing that you can do if you learn to pick well. Okay, so when you're doing your picking practice, and I advise you to do this every day with your practice, and do it first. Do that one, get that out of the way, make sure you spend a bit of time. It's a good warm-up exercise for your right hand, okay, and gets you into the right mode and frame for playing for everything else that you do. Picking exercises lead into all sorts of things, such as arpeggios, and many other things that I haven't got time to list here. Okay, so really important. Stick with this, do it every day, get it right, and it'll really pay off for you later on. Okay, that's all for now. Look forward to next video, which is going to be about chords.